Every zombies map brings something unique to the table. And see, as we are moving on to Black Ops 6, I thought today would be a great day to say my favorite thing about every single zombies map in Treyarch's history. Now, these things I'm going to say are going to be very specific. I'm not going to just come tell you that I think the best thing about a map is its story. If I think it's its story, I'm going to tell you my favorite thing of that story. I'm going to be doing Nocturne Tone all the way up to Modern Warfare 3, so if you guys do enjoy, make sure to leave a like. Also, hit that subscribe button if you are new. We're making incredible Black Ops 6 content moving up to this new game. But other than that, ladies and gentlemen, no more wasting your time. Let's get into it. First map up, we have Nocturne Tone, the very first map ever. And although nostalgia isn't a feature within the actual map, it plays heavy in how much people like it. But for me, I think the best thing about Nocturne Tone is the atmosphere, and specifically the fog that you see around the map. I think the fog that's constantly around Nocturne Tone, especially in World at War and Black Ops 3, is absolutely phenomenal. I think it does a great job at showing all the character the map has, all the different atmosphere, and the different whoos and ha's you hear behind the scenes as well. I think is very, very cool. Nocturne Tone is a great map at setting up this eerie sort of vibe that earlier zombies has that I don't think has been replicated since that World of War day. Corrupt, on the other hand, might be the scariest map of all time. It has incredible new features like perks, like the power switch, but those things we see in every single map. What do we not see in every map? The constant scream. The Easter egg next to the chair, the toilet Easter egg. All of these small Easter eggs around Varrock. But I think the best thing about it is those screams. The constant metal hitting, the constant bars, the constant yells, the constant cries for help that you hear behind everything in Varrock. No map is quite as unsettling as that map, and the bells and metal and everything else you hear really creates you and makes you immersed in that actual experience. Shinonuma is another map that, isn't quite as scary, but has innovated like crazy with different characters and the Hellhounds being introduced. But what else Shinonuma has is the easiest high round strategy and the best high rounds in terms of getting to the highest round possible. And this would not be possible without the Flogger, in my opinion, the greatest trap in zombies history. This metal pike log, whatever you want to call it, with all these thorns and hooks and spikes around it, shooting and hitting zombies is absolutely amazing. It is such a thrill to be able to crawl under the Flogger as all the zombies getting flung away by it as it's flogging. It is such an awesome thing to see in Shinonuma. I love the aspect of it. And that's a strategy that's on Shinonuma. But I think what's on Derice, the best thing about that, is a strategy as well. You could say the introduction of teleporters in the Pack-a-Punch, but like I said, those are things we see on other maps. But what do we not see on other maps? The catwalk. Maybe the greatest camping thing ever. There is nothing like the catwalk when it comes to camping strategies. It is absolutely phenomenal. I love the catwalk. Sitting there with a PPSH, with a Browning, even with a Wonder Waff, having to run down and, help yourself with the dogs. If you're stuck, just jump off the building. I mean, the catwalk is the greatest camping strategy of any zombies game. Although I love the Zetsubo camping strategy as well, I don't think anything will ever top the catwalk because of its nostalgia. And also, it's just a great strategy. A long line where zombies will come down. Pretty good spawns, and I just think if you are looking for nostalgia boner in zombies, go on the catwalk. But another thing that's a nostalgia boner is Kino der Toten, which is where most players, in fact, if not, the majority of players have started their time playing Call of Duty Zombies. But if you started your time playing Call of Duty Zombies like Kino der Toten, then you will remember the infamous loading screen and scream of Richtofen talking to Maxis about his plans, and that is what my favorite thing is.
Entry 741021! Perhaps this station will hold the key to the real goals of Group 935. I still do not trust my unconventional allies, but they are of great use to me. But I digress. Who would have thought the MDT was capable of time travel? How many stations does this group have? Where did that little girl disappear to? Only time will tell what new questions await us in this theater of the damned.
That opening sequence, him yelling, it really sets the tone of the map. Now, there are awesome things like the theater, like the Thunder Gun, but that feature itself really immerses you into the map. Richtofen screaming off the top of his lungs that everyone's fucking stupid makes that map amazing, and that's why I love Kino der Toten.
For time and the world do not stand still.
He lost.
As I always say,
what the Sigma?
5, in my opinion, has the greatest zombies boss of all time. One of the most unique features and the highest risk to reward factor. This is the Pentagon. Pentagon comes with DEFCON 5, man. It's DEFCON 5. And what's happening with the Pentagon? Well, the Pentagon Thief is coming in. He can take your guns, he can take everything, he can give it back if you kill him. But what the Pentagon Thief has is that bonfire sale. That is one of the greatest drops ever. What the bonfire sale does is allow you to go to the Pack-a-Punch and spend $1,000 on it instead of $5,000. But that's only if you kill the Pentagon Thief without losing your weapon. And let me tell you, that's difficult to do if you don't have a ray gun or a very good weapon, especially because that Pentagon Thief is coming around 7. He's coming early, and he's not waiting for you. Once he spawns in, you have very little time before he starts chasing you, and he is much faster. Yuri, behind the Pentagon Thief, also has a great story. We see him in the introduction of Classified. But the Pentagon Thief, his risk to reward feature, and his unique abilities might be the greatest zombie boss of all time, at least in my opinion. Ascension is a map that I have famously hated. Although many people love Ascension, it's just not for me. And what I do like about Ascension, though, is the ability to destroy the rocket as you let it send off for the Pack-a-Punch. The way you open up Pack-a-Punch after getting those 3 landers, you click that button and that rocket will launch. And if you didn't know, if you can shoot the rocket, you will explode it, it will destroy, and a double points will be at the bottom. This is very awesome, allowing you to get many points for your Pack-a-Punch. And if you're shooting that thing with the ray gun, that double points is going to be amazing. Also, the animation of shooting it looks fucking phenomenal. I love the way it looks, and I love everything about that feature. Although I'm not a huge Ascension lover, and there's many things I dislike, I can't lie that shooting that rocket and watching it explode, it might be one of the most satisfying things in Zombies history. Call of the Dead has some of the best movement of any Zombies map, and specifically, I want to talk about the Flinger and the Zip Lines, 2 of the greatest things that have ever been implemented in Zombies in terms of moving around the map. Call of the Dead is a very big map, especially for Black Ops 1. So what did they do? Added many ways to get around. Shangri-La has some issues with travel, and all the other maps in Black Ops 1 has issues with travel, but Call of the Dead doesn't. You can use the Flinger to fling from one side to the lighthouse. You can also use the zip lines to go from near Deadshot all the way down to the ship. You can get to any place in any section at a click of a button or just standing there. That's awesome about that. You can also use the Flinger as a trap if you'd like, but overall, I really like Call of the Dead's travel, specifically the Flinger and the zip line.
The coolest thing? Some of that crazy shit happened right here.
The Shangri-La Eclipse mode is one of the coolest things about a Zombies map. I think that it's a little bit annoying to actually have to go into Eclipse mode a bunch, but once you do, I mean, it is the best atmosphere ever. It looks absolutely stunning. I wish you can go in Eclipse mode on a side Easter egg and not have to do it for the main Easter egg for that. But if you were able to just go in Eclipse mode and never get out, I would do that all the time because Shangri-La looks absolutely beautiful when you are in Eclipse mode. Moon. Now, Moon is a polarizing map, has so many highs and so many lows. I love Moon. Although its RNG can suck, its Easter egg is absolutely incredible. And most reason people like the Easter egg is the ending, blowing up the Earth. I feel like this is an obvious one. You can maybe say the wave gun, you can maybe say swapping souls with Samantha, but blowing up the Earth is the most what the fuck moment I've ever seen in Zombies, and it's still the best ending in Call of Duty Zombies history. Richtofen's just evilness as his plan comes to fruition and not Maxis is absolutely amazing. And Samantha swapping souls, and dude, I love everything about it. I love the Moon Easter egg. Blowing up the Earth is amazing. But now we move on to Black Ops 2. And Transit has a lot of problems. Yes, it's fun to play with other people, but god damn, there's a lot. But you know what's a constant thing that everybody likes in Transit no matter what? Ted, the greatest character in Zombies history and one of the funniest quotes I've ever seen. Ted is absolutely awesome. We see him in so many different ways, including in Alpha Omega, but just his funny lines in Transit, including his way where you can kick you off the bus.
Fine, I guess you are my little pog champ. Come here.
Fuck you! Get your ass off my bus!
Fucking amazing. I love Ted. Nuketown is a small map with not many features, but one thing that's very nice is the eye feature. Basically, near around round 20, if you keep playing that game or that map, the eyes of the zombies will turn from yellow to blue. And the reason that this happens is because that is the exact moment where the souls of Samantha and Richtofen are switched. Such a unique feature, such a great way where that sort of co-aligns with the Moon storyline. I think that's absolutely amazing. And that ending where you die and you see that rocket being pulted right down to Nuketown, that's just another thing to love Nuketown about. And I think the eyes feature is actually a pretty cool story element that we see in that map. Die Rise is a map that is carried by 2 things. The Slick of Fire is one of them, and it would be on this list if it was pre-patched, but the second thing is something that fits Die Rise and only Die Rise, and that's the trample scene. One of the coolest ways to get around the entire map. I do wish you could place more than one, and keep them there forever so you can always hop around different places of the map. But the trampoline is one of the coolest buildables in the map. Being able to jump from side to side, being able to jump from place to place, using it for Easter egg steps. I think the trampoline is absolutely awesome. Maybe one of the best buildables we've ever seen. And I love Die Rise because of that feature. And I love Die Rise's uniqueness because of that feature. Having the trampoline be able to use the verticality more than any other thing, something like stupid like the elevator. Mob of the Dead's best feature is its story, but specifically the audio logs that play right before you go up to the plane in afterlife mode and do your sacrifice or continue or break the cycle with the weasel.
More than its fair share of daring escape attempts. However, few were as audacious as the one undertaken by 4 inmates on New Year's Eve, 1933. Thought to be the brainchild of an inmate by the name of Albert Arlington, the outrageous scheme was as unlikely as its mastermind. It's believed that Arlington, aka the Weasel, somehow convinced 3 other...
The actual events of the story. At first, Al Arlington tells you the events, and the whole story is fake to you, because in the last audio logs read by Sal DeLuca, Finn O'Leary, and Billy Hansen, it tells you actually what happened in Mob of the Dead. I think this is awesome. Such a cool way to implement story and gameplay. Have you slowly walk up to the roof, knowing that your inevitable end is going to be getting on that plane in Afterlife. That is one of the coolest features in the world, having you go from place to place, from the docks all the way up. And I think that's amazing. I think Mob of the Dead story did that absolutely and fantastically, knocked it out of the park. Buried was a tough one. I really wanted to go with the witches because I think they are some of the most unique bosses, but I went with Leroy/Arthur. Leroy Jenkins has some of the most unique and creative widgets, gadgets I've ever seen. He can do things like lock the box, build buildables, go get you the mystery box back if it moved. He can fight zombies, he can open new areas, he can do basically anything. He can hold a crawler for you. Leroy is amazing. Everything that he can do is absolutely awesome. I think he's one of the coolest zombie sort of AI helpers. In fact, he is the coolest AI helper we've ever seen in zombies. He is woven into the Dreisendracht story as well with the Wolf King and as a servant in Austria. And his way he gets to Barry by being teleported through time and space is amazing. And I love Leroy in this map. Shout out Arthur. Shout out Leroy Jenkins. Origins just has so many great things. The 1,000-foot robots. Everything about Origins is awesome. But I'm going to go with the fact that it's the 4 elemental wonder weapons. This is a staple that has continued in other maps, such as Dreisendracht and the Gauntlet. But I think the 4 staffs is absolutely amazing. The Ice Staff, the Fire, the Wind, and the Lightning all do such unique things that we don't see in any other wonder weapon. And I think that they all are done pretty well to perfection. Plus, it's half the Easter egg actually upgrading them. All the quests are great, even if you think some of the codes can be tedious. But at the end of the day, I mean, yeah, everyone knows that the 4 wonder weapon system works in zombie maps. In fact, all the best zombie maps do that 4 wonder weapon system very well. And Origins is just an example of having replayability with your wonder weapons, and I absolutely love that. Shadows of Evil, the start of Black Ops 3. And Shadows of Evil has the best music in zombies history. The atmosphere is second to none. The detail is second to none. The Cthulhu aspect is second to none. But songs like Snakeskin Boots, round changes, atmosphere changes. I mean, Shadows of Evil has amazing jazz-inspired 1930s music, and that is awesome. I feel like doing the flapper in the middle of the map. That's how good it is. I feel like a mob boss. Hey, where's Al Capone? Hey, give me my coffee. I'm like New York. All right, I'm sorry. But Shadows of Evil is that guy. The music is absolutely phenomenal. There's nothing as good as the music in that map. And honestly, I gotta give it credit where credit is due. The Giant's best feature is the opening cutscene. What a shock factor. Remember Mr. Waffle Waffle's reaction? God damn. Richtofen coming and shooting himself was such a crazy thing because we wouldn't expect nothing like that. What a way to really exclamation point, to kick off your new zombies game with somebody killing a former version of themselves. Did you see that coming? Because I didn't either. And I think that's an awesome thing about the Giant. Dreisendracht's best thing is the boss fight. I don't think blowing up the moon does as much as blowing up the Earth, even though obviously it's great. But Dreisendracht was the first map to really have an amazing boss fight, and the boss fight is the best part about it. It's difficult to learn when you're first playing it, but if you know what you're doing, it's easy, and that's awesome about Easter egg. Having that difficult learning curve, but once you're over it, making it to where it's not a cakewalk, but it's definitely doable, especially with Gobblegums. I think Dreisendracht does amazing at that. I think it's an amazing boss fight. I love everything about Dreisendracht. And that's why we got to put it so high, because I think it's that good. Zetsubo is the spider fight. I think the spider fight is absolutely awesome. This sort of mini boss fight there. I think it's better than the main boss fight of Zetsubo. I think the spider boss fight is just a nice little fun thing you have to do. Go, you know, shoot the spider in its mouth and it's puking, right? That's awesome about it. I love that about the spider fight, and I think it does an amazing job. And I gotta give it all the love I can get it. Although the atmosphere is amazing, the ending cutscene, in my opinion, is the best of BO3. Zetsubo's boss fight, the spider, is great, and I love everything about it. Garada has one of my favorite Easter egg steps of all time. That's the bomb step. Talk about stressful. A lot of people don't like the bomb step because it gives you stress, but I love that stress. I love that it's difficult yet simplistic at the same time. It's very, very stressful if you fuck it up and get it wrong. And if you are by yourself, you can lose the game if you are in the wrong room and you click the wrong one or you take too long. But this bomb step is amazing. If you know what you're doing, if you check it out, if you write it down, you can take 2 minutes. If you don't know what you're doing, your game is over. Revelations has one of the most in-depth and genius layouts I've ever seen. The 5 different islands with it connecting into Nocturne and Toten is fucking awesome. Every single place feels like that map. It feels like Shangri-La when you're in it. It feels like Jurassic Jack when you're in it. It feels like Kino when you're in it. It feels like Origins. All those different other maps being combined in it is great. And, you know, you can do that very easily, and it can feel clunky. It can feel like a mess. But Revelations puts those old maps in there with their identity while keeping the identity that it is Revelations. And I think that that's a very difficult thing to do. And I think it's an underrated thing about Revelations is how that layout is portrayed in that map. And I think the layout is fucking genius. For 9, we're into Black Ops 4 here. And I'd say the best thing about 9 is going to be the crowd feature. The way they can throw shit at you if you're bad, what you have to do for the original opening Easter egg part. Or if they're good to you, they can throw you power up, full power, points. It doesn't matter. They can throw you pieces for the death of Orion. I think that is amazing. 9's crowd feature is one of the best things about that map. It's done to perfection. Each player has their own unique one. You stand in the fire, it's down. You kill zombies in the head, it's up. It's all about how you play, and then it receives that and gives you gifts for playing well. Kind of like the Minecraft, you know, villager feature if you beat a raid. It's the same sort of thing in 9. I think that's amazing. Voyage of Despair, the best thing is no, but for real, the best thing about Voyage of Despair is the boss fight. The Eye boss fight is a 5-staged boss fight that some people have told me is underwhelming, but I love it. I really wish there was a boss rush mode or a director's cut in that game, because I would go back and play that boss fight if I could. I think the boss fight's awesome. Now, getting there, whoa, that's another story. Getting there is not fun, but the boss fight itself is a lot of fun. Blood of the Dead's best thing is the talking sequence with Brutus. The ending cutscene is gut-wrenching, but the talking sequence when you all are in your cages and he talks to you and it's actually playable and you follow behind him with the bird, that is the best part about Blood of the Dead. That sneak factor, the fact that you're in there, the fact that Al Arlington helps you escape from it, you being in there and him just talking to you about how he's going to keep you in there forever, that is some of the best lines of dialogue I've ever seen in Zombies. Classified is the ability to go to Area 51, such a heartthrob and throwback for other players, and honestly, the way that you can clear it and use that as a place, you know, to stay forever is great as well, allowing that to be sort of a camping ground and a training ground if you want. The pack-a-punch thing there is great, and then obviously at Area 51, what do you have? The last gen Ricktop and jump scare, which is also amazing. So Classified, I think, is an underrated map, but that's something about it. Dead of Night, the best thing about it is Noah J's house. Ancient Evil, the best thing about it is going to be the shield. I think Ancient Evil has the best shield of all time. The javelin is very, very cool. I love that. I think that it's one of the coolest, I think it is the coolest looking design of all time. The coolest looking use of a shield of all time. Very, very powerful as well. I mean, it is great in the boss fight. It is a long range shield. I love the Ancient Evil shield. It is the best in Zombies history. Alpha Omega has some of the best dialogue, specifically the radios. The Cornelius Purnell, Peter McCain radios, and the talk about Groom Lake, about Broken Arrow is absolutely awesome.
Director, what? Are you all right?
Better than all right, my dear.
Begone,
Run it again.
Each and every one of you.
Broken Arrow is done so well in this map. Seeing everything that's going on, the pyramid on it, the APD, all of the different things in that map. I mean, the sequences you see, the radio sequences you hear about are way more interesting than the actual ending boss fight where Samantha just turns German again for the first time since Origins. I think that is the best part of that map. The radios are awesome. Tagger Toten has a lot of good things. I love all of the interactions within the map, but I like the heat pack. I think the heat pack is very cool in that map. It allows it to where the water is actually a trainable spot, and it allows you to have all those trainable areas. It makes the map way more open, and the heat pack is not hard to get, so I really like the heat pack in that map. I think it's an underrated feature within zombies. D Machine is going to be the dark ether effect. Just going into that makes that map personality. That map feels like a wet napkin. It just feels like zombies map, the map. And then when you actually use the dark ether, it feels alive. You can see Orda in the distance. You can see the jellyfish. I love the color palette of it. Dark Ether is the coolest thing about D Machine. Pirate Bay Z, the coolest thing is going to be the defense rounds. I know this is very controversial for people that don't, play high rounds on this map, but I think the defense on the round is very cool, especially with Orda. And if you have a Ring of Fire, it is awesome. I think it's one of the most unique things about the map. And if you really don't want to do it, just let them fucking take it down real quick. It's not hard. Doesn't take a long time. You get a max ammo no matter what. I like the defense rounds a lot in Firebase. I think it's a very cool feature and a map that is very vanilla. It's got a lot going on for it. Outbreak, the best thing of the grapple gun, just the ability to move around the different maps. I like things about Outbreak. I dislike a lot of things about Outbreak, but the grapple gun is a great way to maneuver on top of buildings, to do other things as well. And I think it's done very well in that map. It's very well used in a map like Grigo, in a map like Golova. Those maps have done pretty well in Outbreak, even though they're just Fire Team Dirty Bomb, and the grapple gun makes it to where you move around the map way better. The best thing about Mauer Toten is going to be Klaus. Klaus is such a hilarious feature in the map, and he sacrifices his life in the end. He's an integral part of many steps to Easter egg, including upgrading him, which is very cool, him stopping the train, which is very cool, him holding the third sort of bomb as he walks into the Dark Ether. He does a great job at sacrificing himself. He is such a must-see character, and he's hilarious in this map, and I think he is the funniest character in Black Ops Cold War, and Klaus is just a great addition to that map. Forsaken, the best thing is going to be the Crystal Axe, one of the coolest wonder weapons. Now, I really wanted to put the arcade, but I just don't think there's enough in it for me to justify putting it over the Crystal Axe, when the Crystal Axe is one of the best wonder weapons. Either way you use it, whether it's the axe feature or whether it's the shooting feature, it is just so much fun. The audio design, the look of it. I mean, for thumbnails, the Crystal Axe is gold, and I love just playing it in game as well. Although grabbing the Crystal Axe is literally like over half the Easter egg, I think that it is amazing just as a wonder weapon itself. And I gotta give Forsaken a lot of love for the Crystal Axe because it is one of the coolest wonder weapons I've ever seen. For COD Vanguard, and then for Modern Warfare 3, our very last map, it's going to be the schematic system. Yeah, spawning with the ray gun is great. Spawning with the Wonder Waff is great. Spawning with the new wonder weapon, I forgot the name of it, is great. I love the schematic system. I just wish the cooldown wasn't so ridiculous. But yeah, at least the schematic system exists, and you can spawn in with those wonder weapons, which is a nice plus. But, ladies and gentlemen, that's going to be it all for today. If you guys did enjoy, make sure to leave a like and subscribe. Let me know what you guys disagree with. I know that there is definitely some things where I could have easily said the wonder weapon in the map, or the Easter egg set for this map, but I want to be a little bit more specific and things that I just think are all good and no bad. And so yeah, if you guys like the specific things I said, let me know by leaving a like I said. And if you guys want me to say everything, my least favorite thing of every map, let me know as well. We'll see how well this video does. But I appreciate you all so much for watching. Thank you guys so much. And I will see you all in the next one.
Hit it!
And now, folks, it's time to say goodnight. We sincerely appreciate your patronage and hope we've succeeded in bringing you an enjoyable evening of entertainment. Please drive home carefully and come back again soon. Good night.